Hi everyone, welcome back to Video Game Docs, and today we're doing another look at Into the Collection. So last week we took a look at The Legend of Zelda, the first Legend of Zelda game that launched in America. We looked at the box art, the manual, all that stuff, and continuing this tradition, we're actually going to be looking at the second game of the series, Zelda II, The Adventure of Link. So the first thing I wanted to point out here was that on this box, obviously you can see The Legend of Zelda, and in this box it more prominently displays The Adventure of Link. So it just says Zelda 2, and it doesn't have The Legend of Zelda anywhere on the box, and so this is actually the only game to do this. Every single Zelda game after this will use The Legend of Zelda and then go on to the rest of the game. But this game alone just says The Adventure of Link, and I wanted to point out this little contrast in how we have The Legend of Zelda, and Zelda is in a bright red color, and then you have The Adventure of Link, and Link is in a bright blue color, kind of just pointing out the two main characters of the series. You have Zelda, and then you have Link. So of course, between these two boxes we have kind of the same gold cartridge motif. This one uses just what can assume to be the white sword from the last game, as this is a direct continuation of the first game. So The Adventure of Link actually launched January 14th, 1987 in Japan for the original Famicom disk system, and this version right here, which is Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, initially launched on December 1st, 1988, so 2 years after the first game came out. And again, you'll notice that it just says Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, nothing else. And it says another journey of ultimate challenge in the fantasy world of Hyrule. And of course, we have the beautiful Nintendo seal of quality there. So let's go ahead and flip on the back. So, The Adventure of Link, the Hyrule fantasy continues. So the land of Hyrule is in chaos once again, and as Link, you'll be sent on a treacherous journey to return 6 precious crystals to their origins in 6 stone statues. Only by defeating the guardians of the 6 palaces will you gain passage to the 7th palace, take on the ultimate challenge that awaits you, and wake the Princess Zelda from her sleeping spell. On your way, helpful villagers you encounter will offer clues and secret messages, invaluable in your quest. As you guide Link through the levels of Hyrule, close-ups and overviews will enhance your video vision. Are you up to the challenge? In addition of The Legend of Zelda, The Adventure of Link is one of the most challenging video games we've ever created, and for many players that's very true. To help you keep up with the action, Nintendo's exclusive extended playing power means Link is programmed to remember everything you find on your journey, so you never have to start your search empty-handed. And again, that's another marketing term for this has batteries so you can save. So if we look at the screens themselves, we can actually see there's Link and there's a few enemies, and it seems like there's an overworld. And then right here, it's kind of a surprise, but it's a 2D side-scroller, and with a villager who's saying hello, and there's magic and life and whatever this is. And this is where the second game of the series is actually where the Zelda series took a huge turn. This game was created by the original people who made the first Zelda game, including series creator Shigeru Miyamoto. Now, Miyamoto actually believes that this is the only game in the Zelda series that he says is a complete failure, and he actually says that this is due to technological limitations at the time. So if we go ahead and open this bad boy up, we'll be able to get a look inside. Trying to be careful because it's cardboard and not like the rest. Okay, so of course we have the regular game cover, and then here we are, the beautiful gold cartridge with the essentially just the cover, The Adventure of Link, Zelda 2, and that's about it. So then let's go ahead and take a look at the instruction booklet. Again, these are my favorite parts of this type of stuff. I think that what is normally in here is fantastic. There's a ton of artwork that we don't get to see otherwise. And again, a bunch of stuff that, sets up the story that most players might never experience just because they don't have the booklet. So if we open it up, it looks very similar to the original Legend of Zelda's art style. And this is the story of the adventure of Link. At the end of a fierce fight, Link overthrew Ganon, took back the Triforce, and rescued Princess Zelda. However, is it all really finished? Many seasons have passed then. Hyrule was on the road to ruin. The power that the Veil Heart of Ganon had left behind was causing chaos and disorder in Hyrule. What's more, even after the fall of Ganon, some of his underlings remained, waiting for Ganon's return. The key to Ganon's return was the blood of Link, the valiant lad who overthrew the King of Evil. Ganon would be revived by sacrificing Link and sprinkling his blood on the ashes of Ganon. Meanwhile, Link remained in the little kingdom of Hyrule and lent his hand to its restoration, but circumstances did not look very good. One day, a strange mark, exactly like the crest of the kingdom, appeared on the back of Link's hand as he approached his 16th birthday. The worried Link went to Impa, Princess Zelda's nursemaid, who was shocked and frightened when she saw the birthmark. When she regained her composure, she took Link to the North Castle. There was a door in the North Castle called the Door That Does Not Open. Only the descendants of the Impa family who served the king knew how to open the door. Impa took Link's left hand and pressed the back of it against the door. There was a sound of a lock falling open, and the door slowly creaked open, and here on an altar in the middle of the room lay a beautiful woman. "Here lies Princess Zelda," Impa began to speak calmly. "Link, the time has come when I must tell you the legend of Zelda handed down in Hyrule. It is said that long ago, when Hyrule was one country, a great ruler maintained the peace in Hyrule using the Triforce. However, the king too was a child of man, and he died. Then the prince of the kingdom should have become king and inherited everything, but he could inherit the Triforce only in part. The prince searched everywhere for the missing parts, but could not find them. Then a magician close to the king brought him some unexpected news. Before he died, the king had said something about the Triforce to only the younger sister of the prince, Princess Zelda. The prince immediately questioned the princess, but she wouldn't tell him anything. After the prince, the magician threatened to put the princess into an eternal sleep if she did not talk, but even still, she said nothing. So essentially, a magician came up, forced Zelda to sleep, and that is the Legend of Zelda. And so from the stand next to the altar where Princess Zelda lay in deep sleep, Impa took 6 crystals and a scroll with the same crest and handed them to Link. So with that, you need to take each of the 6 crystals and go to each of the palaces and put them where you're supposed to, and eventually Link will gain the Triforce. And that there is essentially the story of the game. So then we have a vast Hyrule, which is set. The vast Hyrule is the stage for the adventure. There are 6 palaces hidden in Hyrule. Link must gain experience by fighting Ganon's underlings and get information while visiting towns here and there. And after defeating the guardians of the palaces of Death Valley, he must obtain the Triforce of Courage. That is Link's mission. So here we have all of the places that you can visit, including Saria Town, Death Mountain area, the King's Tomb, Morug Swamp, Midoro Swamp, Port, Mido Town, Rauru Town, Parappa Desert, Parappa the Rappa, North Castle, Tentari Desert, and Ruto Town. Now you might, if you're a Legend of Zelda fan, you might recognize a lot of these names. So for example, Mido, Saria, and Ruto are names that kind of recur throughout the series. Ruto and Saria, more specifically, are known for their incarnations in The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. And also, Rauru, the Light Sage from Ocarina of Time. And I think Rauru also shows up in Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. So then it goes with the regular instructions: make a new Link, register your name, all of that stuff. It tells you some of the warnings about resetting, powering off, all of that good stuff. And then we move on to Link travels again to the land of Hyrule, the kingdom inside the North Castle. This is the North Castle. Link's adventure is about to start. Princess Zelda continues to sleep peacefully on the altar. And so in this instruction book, this is actually one of my favorite parts, you have little illustrations of Link. And he says stuff like, when I have no more lives left, that's the end of me. And it's recurring throughout the entire thing, and it's just really cool to me. So unlike The Legend of Zelda 1, if you die once, you kind of have to restart, or restart at the dungeon, whatever. But this game actually gives you 3 lives, like most video games do in this era. And then let's take a look at Link's status before he leaves the castle. So this tells you a little bit about what's new. So you have a magic level, a life level, an attack level, present experience points necessary to raise your level, magic that can be used, life points remaining, magic points remaining, number of lives remaining, and items Link possesses. So yes, magic becomes more of a thing in this one with specific magic points, different spells that you can use, and same with hit points, XP. And so as you level up in the game, you can choose to level up your attack, level up your life, or level up your magic, much like any role-playing game or general JRPG out there. So then it kind of tells you about the North Castle, the outskirts, how Link walks the land of Hyrule. Again, this is how you check it. This is actually instructions for the overworld specifically. So this is actually instructions for the overworld specifically. So you can move around, you can play a flute, you can use the hammer. You can't use buttons A and B if there's no item in your hand, unfortunately, and then game pause and restart. It shows you the different tiles. So right here is the road, right here is plain, forest, sea, river, desert, swamp, mountain, graveyard, barge, bridge. And then here's another little illustration. Look below for the main landscapes. So Link can move anywhere except on water, such as rivers, and on dangerous landscapes, such as mountains. You should be able to find towns, caves, and large boulders blocking the road, however. So then we move on. The Adventure of Link, searching for the third Triforce. So this is also the introduction of the third Triforce. So it mentioned the Triforce of Wisdom last game, and also I believe the Triforce of Power, and this is where we get the Triforce of Courage for Link. And so then here it shows you a little diagram of what a weak enemy and a strong enemy looks like, and a little bit of the 2D section. And then it goes into the fight screen and the fight basics. So you have a normal attack. This is your normal stance, your shield is up, but you can get hit in the legs. When you press down, your shield is down, but you can get hit in the face. You can do a jump thrust and a downward thrust, which you will learn later, and then the controls for it. So you can use magic with the select button. You can call up the subscreen with start. You can jump with A, swing your sword with B, and then move Link all around, and then, you know, move up and down to lower your shield, or jump thrust and all that. So then it tells you about experience points, which is in fact a new thing in The Legend of Zelda. And so when you kill an enemy, it shows how many points you're getting. So obviously a little slime is 2 points, a spider's 3, and then a moblin is worth 20 points. And like I mentioned before, Link becomes stronger by getting more experience. So right here you can see a little screen, and it tells you how many points needed to level up your next whatever it is. So for example, at 50 points your life will go up, 100 magic, attack 200. When the game is over, the points become 0. The same happens when saved. So if you die or if you save and exit, then your points do become 0 and you have to do it again, unfortunately. And then here are some of the landscapes that you will find. You will find the plains, flat land with no obstacles of any kind. Fighting and escaping are both easy. And there's a bit and a bot, which are just 2 little slime things. Then you can encounter a cave with some aches or just regular bats in there. And then the desert, which will show you the Geldarm, the Goria, and the Louder, which is like a beetle. And then of course the forest, surrounded by a thicket of trees. This place is dark with almost no light entering, and this is where you'll find the Moblin, or Moblin, the Dealer, which are little blue spiders, and Mobies, which are eagles that fly through the air. And then of course the swamp, which is where you have the classic Octoroks, and the Dairas, which are alligators that throw axes at you. And then finally the graveyard, which is where you can encounter the Moa, or a ghost that just kind of flies above your head. And then here it is. If Link is defeated, Ganon will return, and this is where you get the classic Ganon has returned, and he laughs a bunch of times. So it says here, don't be hasty. Make sure to level up, make sure to take your time. If Ganon returns, Hyrule will fall further and further into ruin, and we can't have that. You have to act carefully to prevent that. So here's a little thing about shields. You can fend off attacks, or certain attacks, with your shields, and then it also tells you what objects you can't fend off with a regular shield, including a chain hammer, axe, club, fireball. And then magic should only be used when you need it. This is my favorite illustration ever. It's Link doing little magic hands. And then a fairy, of course, like the last game, will recover your life. And then it tells you more about the exploration, arriving in a town near the castle. there are swordsmen hidden in some towns, and that's where you can learn the jump thrust and downward thrust. You can pick up important hints, for example, like I am error, or many, many more. So if you walk up to someone and press the B button, you can actually talk to them, and this is obviously a new mechanic in the game, since last game you kind of just walked up to people who were in caves and started talking to them. But this time you can actually interact with just about every person that is in each town and village you talk to. And there will be people that can even help Link, or invite them inside. So enter the house by pressing the top of the cross button, and you'll go inside. And occasionally there are houses with the doors open, and you can just walk in. Let's check if you've been taught magic. There are people in town who would like to teach you magic. Depending on the kind of magic, there are also times when they will not teach you. If you have not gotten enough magic point containers or satisfied certain conditions, you'll be able to learn at least one magic trick per town. So this tells you that you can learn different spells, including a shield, including an increased jump, including increased life, where the life spell just kind of gives you more life, but stuff like that. So, which can be very helpful on your journey. And then it tells you about the palaces, which are these games' dungeons. So, like the original Legend of Zelda, these are kind of labyrinthian type places with harder enemies, including an Iron Knuckle, Mew, and Stalfos. So for example, this palace is a complex labyrinth, and so here's the entrance. You walk in, you can go down to the left, to the right, down, left, and there's so much. Compared to the other game, these feel like actual labyrinths that are really tough to explore at times. And just like in the original games, you can find items in the palace to help you about your adventures, just like finding keys to open a locked door. In fights with the main guardians of the palace, the enemy's life power is displayed at the left of the screen. And just general other things around here that can help you out. Hidden secrets, hidden life, hidden magic points, stuff like that. And then you have the Great Palace, which is where you go after all 6 crystals are placed. After Link undoes the binding force of the Great Palace and enters there, you can restart from the entrance of the Great Palace if you press continue, even if the game is over. Try your best. And then finally, here is a map of the starting area. So you start here at the North Castle, and here is a path that goes to Rauru Town, a cave that probably ends up there that goes to the first palace, Tantari Desert, and then Ruto Town, which if you go down also leads to another cave, which will probably show you the rest of the map and the rest of the adventure itself. And so here's more on some of the spells that Link can learn, including Shield, Life, Jump, Fairy, Fire, Reflect, Spell, Thunder. And finally, items to help you out, including the Magic Jar, Treasure Bag, Heart Container, Magic Container, Doll, Candle, Hammer, Handy Glove, Raft, Boots, Flute, Magical Key, and Cross. A lot of these items you might recognize as staples in the Legend of Zelda series, including the Heart Container, and the Candle, Hammer, Handy Glove, Boots, Flute, and Magical Key. Now the Cross isn't in there, not entirely sure why, probably censorship on Nintendo's part. And at the end of the day, that's all you have in this. So thanks for joining me on this little walkthrough of the Legend of Zelda Adventure of Link, or I'm sorry, Zelda II, The Adventure of Link. And if you enjoyed this, make sure to like, comment, maybe comment a game that you might want me to check out instead of a Zelda game. Now, I'm doing the Zelda series at the moment, primarily due to the fact that it's The Legend of Zelda's anniversary, but I will be going on to other games that I think are cool in the collection. If you want this series to become maybe weekly, let me know. I might have to, oh geez, this isn't going in. Might have to be a little bit higher in subscriber count to justify going weekly with a series like this. But if you enjoyed that much, please feel free. Man, I'm really struggling with this. Okay, there we go. But if you like it that much, please let me know. Please let me know if you're enjoying this little walkthrough, and let me know what other games you might want me to check out. But also, I'm trying to do a release schedule of one of these types of videos the first Friday, or the second Friday of every month, and then I'm releasing a full-on documentary style video at the end of the month on the last Sunday of the month. So I will not be announcing the topic for the documentary video, but make sure to be on the lookout. Sunday, April 25th is when I hope to have that video out, and I think you all will like it because I'm pretty excited about it too. So again, thanks for watching this video, and make sure you're subscribed.